All right, the inspector tool. All right, let's start fresh. All right, the inspector tool. So let me start with kind of a couple new images we'll bring in and help us just kind of work from as I explain exactly what the inspector tool is. So let's go ahead and do this one. That one looks pretty cool. We'll make that one a little smaller. Put that one up there. Okay. Let's bring another image, also from Unsplash. Unsplash. All right, there we go. So, all right, there's a couple things I'm adding. Okay. I'm actually going to add a couple words here. Let's add some text, actually. And I have notes about these two images. So I'm going to go to the tool there. All right, what did I do there? Oh, I started a new one. All right, here we go. I didn't want to do that. All right. Now I'm going to go back to my notes, right? Because I actually have some notes in that same note about these. And it'd be kind of cool to give these great photographers credit. It's not mandatory with Unsplash, but you can. And so here's one. All right, this is the one on the bottom. So I'm going to hold that, right? Pops it out. And now it looks like I'm bringing it up. Nope, I have this slide sorter up. It's having some trouble. All right, let's try that again. Don't want to do that. All right, I'm holding it down. Bring it in. All right, see how I put it there? It chose the last color I used, right, for text. So I'm just going to bring it over for now. Let's move it. All right, but now I also want to do, let's bring in the other text as well. So I'm going to select, this is the Orion Nebula. Sounds cool. I'll put that over there as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to again use the bar. I'm going to swipe down and then over. Okay. So I have these. I have text here. Let's throw some shapes in here as well, just so I could really show you with the inspector tool and all of its magic. So let's do black border, and we'll do like the pink fill. We'll do a little bit of the opacity down. But I actually want it to be a rectangle. And then this next one, we'll have it be a rounded edge rectangle. Cool. All right. Inspector tool. The inspector tool kind of gives you a lot of magic on what you could do with all of these things. And so I want to walk you through that. That's this eye, right? So if I click something, I can move it around. I'm still on the hand tool. Let's go to the inspector tool first, okay? And then what I do is I click something. And I'll see how it has the border there. You could use that to show you what you can do. You can select multiple things at once and interact with multiple things at once. So, for example, I could click both photos. See how they're both there? Now, how do you unclick something? Just click it again, right? And so, another thing that you could do to select things with the inspector tool is you could actually lasso, and it just selects everything in its path. And so, I could, right? So I've brought these things I've selected those things. I didn't even touch any of them. I just lassoed them all, right? So that's how you get things with your inspector tool. All right, so first though, what I'm going to do is I'm going to unselect everything but this first kind of text that I have, right? So I'm on the inspector tool. The inspector tool bar you can move. I just touch the top, right, and I can just move it wherever I want it. As you can see, it's also a way to delete stuff. So if I hit the trash can, it would just delete what I've selected. It also, though, can share something as well. So share that text or whatever it is. So first with arrange, basically what it does is it can help you layer your images so it works, right? So for example, I want to actually first go ahead and I want to add this box with the text. Okay, so that's what I want to do. I want to have this box with the text, right? But basically what it did is it made the text on the bottom, especially, fortunately, I made it a little transparent. So I'm going to click on this box, right? So I click on the box, I'm going to say send it either backwards or send to the back. Back, it just knows nothing's going to be behind it. Backwards might just be one step. So I'm going to just send it to the back, right? And now that I brought my text up front to kind of be there with it, okay? So that's how you use those, bring the front, bring the back. So for example, if you can see I have these two images, right? And see how this bottom one actually is kind of on top? Well, I want actually, though, this other one to be on top. So I'm just going to say bring it to the front and it cut it on top, right? So that's how you layer things. Now, what's cool, too, with this Arrange tab is you can actually arrange things to kind of come together. So let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to select both the text in that box, right? So I could say, all right, well, let's actually just align these together, left, to the center, to the right, middle. So see how it kind of, I just centered it both ways together. All right. So now I'm going to go to the edit group. So now with the next tab, edit, I could click two things and I could group them together. Grouping is nice because then that way I can move them and they move together. And now actually what I want to do is I want it to be on top now. So I'm going to select it. And now because they're grouped, they're together. And I'm going to bring it to the front. And now I have kind of something there to help me see what's going on there, right? So that I'm able to kind of give credit to that because of that box I brought to the front. All right, so if I group things bigger as well. Cool. All right, so I'm going to go back to my inspector tool. And see how like it's only allowed me to select the actual box. So if I do that, I could actually just send it to the back. And then I could select that too, right? And I could, well, why don't we do the same thing? Align them perfectly in the box. Cool. I'm going to group. What I could also do then is all these other options, right? Duplicate, which would be probably what I would do with the gas, right? It's just duplicate because then it's what it is it's still text. So I could still edit it, especially if you're just changing things a little bit. That could be a great use of that. I'm going to go ahead and delete that for now. All right. I have that. Let's go back to my inspector tool. Copy. Copy is if I want to essentially copy something and then paste it on another slide, right? So I'm going to say go ahead and copy, and then I'm going to go back a slide, and I'm going to paste, right? I would duplicate if you're trying to put something on the same slide, and I would do copy and paste if it's on a different slide. Also, what you could do is you can flip things right and left. For example, say I really think this photo, even though I wouldn't be quite giving this person credit, I want to flip it right or up and down. You can do that with anything, shapes, images. So let's go ahead and add another. Let's see here. Right, I'm using some of my techniques right from before. I used the infant alpha apply. Now I'm going to actually crop where it didn't infant alpha. So cool. All right. So I have this here. So what I could do, right, I could select and I could flip myself up and down, right or left, if I want to appear right-handed, left-handed, whatever, right? Those are other options in the inspector. Here are some of the cool ones, right? That I think you want to use carefully, but you might have a good reason you want to use them. One is it's called set an auto rotation. So So maybe, for example, if I look at it, right, if I'm doing auto rotation, right, so you see this circle on the right here? If what I could do, and I don't need to use my pencil for it, is I could essentially, the harder I swing is the harder then that will then swing. And then if I just, what happens if I just touch, it'll stop. All right, so I'm going to go back to my inspector tool. It's an auto rotation, right? And then if you see down here, it moves where my center is going to be. So, meaning if I put my center down here and I rotate, it's going to go around that way, right? So that, again, I can hit the center there of that right one and it just stops you. But again, I can just go that, stop. All right, so that could be good for various reasons. So that's the auto spin. The next thing is I can set an image as the background. So when an image is the background, it means even when you zoom in and out, it's going to always just be there in that position. So for example, let's select this one right here and unselect me. I can set it as a background. So what I could do is then if I zoom in and out, because remember I have that built in here. I actually already kind of showed you that. Even when I'm zooming in and out, it leaves what is there. So that is handy. So even if you lock something down, which we'll get to next, it doesn't work quite the same. What the background does is always leaves whatever that image is there is going to stay there no matter how much you zoom in and out. Okay, as that part of the screen. So the next thing I will show you, let's keep going on the inspector tool. And actually, let's put me right back up there. All right. And I'm going to move this around. It's now in the way, right? So I can move from the top there. Is I can set as clip art. So whatever I'm selected, I can make it as clip art. So now when I go back into here, clip art, where there's that pencil, I could easily put myself there and bring that up. So, right, it doesn't have to just be an image like that, which that is a good use of that if you want to add like kind of your Bitmoji like that in, as well as other images. I could have actually had it be this whole, all of that as clip art. So then when I add that clip art, well, I guess because it's a background as well. But it could be shapes and things as well. It doesn't have to be just one individual thing. All right, let's go ahead and check out the last thing. Infinite scroll. All right, let me get some stuff out of here first. I got a lot going on. Did I say delete? All right, cool. So I'm going to click back on here. I'm going to not make it background anymore, so I unselected that. But I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to bring that text down there, right? So what I could do, though, with this is something called infinite scroll. This is kind of a newer feature. So what I could do, is you can see these things on the top and the bottom, is it allows me to kind of set it as a moving something that keeps moving as it goes, okay? So, for example, check this out. So I'm going to go ahead and just, I lightly touch, right? It goes at the speed you're going. So that can create like a background type of thing. And then if I want to keep scrolling, like for whatever I'm doing, I'm going to hit that sign there. So maybe I do want to add myself, right? And I could kind of tell a story of someone who's walking through the woods or, whatever. I mean, there's lots of different reasons you might use that, but that's what you could do there. So that is the infinite scroll. So I'm going to go back to the inspector tool, bring up infinite scroll, and then if I hit that blue dot, it stops it and takes it back to the beginning. As you might have saw, it's also vertically as well. So I could do that as well. So if that's what you're going for, you could do that. Cool. All right, let's look at the inspector tool again, but let's go looking at the lock part. So the lock part will lock something down in place, like I just did earlier, right? So I can say, so with that, right, even if I'm zooming in and out, though, it'll stay there. But what it's saying, essentially, is that it won't be moving in and out. All right. So and it looks like I locked them together. Or I grouped them. All right. So let's go ahead and lock, unlock. Good. And we'll... Good. All right. So what also, though, you could do is lock rotation. So this is really good when you're trying to move things in sort of a video, right? And so if I select myself here, and I say lock rotation, and I'm moving it, and if I use 2 fingers, I can't spin and move. So meaning that if you know your movement and you don't want to actually rotate, you just want to kind of be a flat something, you could do that. So I could do multiple of these, right? I could also lock scale, meaning I don't want it to also get bigger accidentally. And so you could move it, do that. So I'm using 2 fingers and it won't do it, right? And so I could lock it which way it goes, right? So horizontal meaning, so if I want him to only do one direction, right? So he can't go sideways, he's only going up and down. So maybe it's like, oh, and up it goes, right? So you could lock that. That could be a good way to help just kind of clean up what you're doing. Do lock vertical. There we go. And that rotation. Right now he's only going that way. So that could be really handy as well as snap rotation. Snap rotation means that when you do rotate it, all right, snap rotation means when you do rotate it, it will go to the nearest 90-degree angle automatically. So see how it locks there. So that could be handy as well. It's just a lot of options that you could do. Lastly, and you've seen I've done this, is right down here, right, is the undo and redo. So you can undo and redo as needed. It is a great friend to do that because if you really get into it, you're going to make a lot of mistakes when you are doing it. All right, next.